I'm back for everyone's radio broadcasting. Everyone's like spalding. Characters in movies haunt me. Many characters haunt me in movies. Characters in stories haunt me. Jesus is a character in a story. He haunts me. Not much, though. Because I'll tell you what Jesus did. Where you're not really haunted by Jesus, even though I am. And that whole gospel haunts me, and Jesus a lot of times haunts me in a priceless way. Only I'll tell you what, Jesus turned me to focus on something He's focused on. Now, when you do that, you kind of use Jesus in a different way. You put Him on. You wear Him. You live Him. At the same time, He's doing that too. He's living something bigger than Himself. Jesus didn't just live Jesus. He lived humanity. He lived the truth. He lived a lot of things. He was a mimicker of many things and experienced it. Even when this guy is a character in a story, I look at him as a character in a story because I can't know the truth about this individual man. But it says right there in the story that he makes his confession that people are lying about him everywhere and to don't go believe it anywhere. So I don't. From that remark in the story about this man that he supposedly made in his day. Because in his day, everyone was misquoting him. Everyone. Fact. So, it doesn't report anybody ever really quoting Christ accurately and living up. And he pointed to something much bigger than himself always. The truth. Jesus never pointed to himself at all. Ever. In the story. When you read the story, this man does not point to himself. He refers to himself as many points of and aspects of living and paraphrases himself in that role. Only tells you to do your own thing and your own act in that same role. He doesn't say, watch me and do it exactly like me. He does not say that. He gives you some hints and ideas of what works and suggests you do it that way. Only he says, like a lot of guys, Jesus was pretty open about what works. He was, and he was still learning. He was a student. Christ was as much a student as he was a teacher. And to me, any teacher who is not a student is not a teacher. People have asked me, am I a teacher? Well, I'm a student. So I share what I'm like a child that picks up a stone and shows it to you. Is that a teacher? When a child goes in the forest with you and picks up a souvenir off the ground and hands it to you as a souvenir and treasures it for you, and treasures it and asks you to keep it for him, and wants to take it home out of the forest, is that a teacher or a student? My granddaughter used to do that with rocks. We'd go to the river and she'd pick up little rocks and, Grandpa, look, and save this for me, Grandpa, save this. My granddaughter was a student and always felt, they've jaded a lot of her charm in studentism. I mean, the people around her really mock. She's been born with people who don't know anything about student, and they're not students at all. None of them. And she was the epitome student. You know what happens when you do that to a student? It's horrible. It suffocates them. Why God Almighty does that? I don't like the Lord for that very reason. I don't like my Maker. I see my Maker build priceless things and take them and stick them in suffocating situations. I'll understand that never, and I don't want to. I just want to find the Lord and whack at one. I do. I find humans priceless and stuck in a very suffocating situation. I don't like the Lord for that. And I find my whole creature found that way. I shall wham my Maker for that. How dare you, no matter what reason you did, I don't care what the reason, that I find humans in this state of affairs, my Maker's in big trouble. Want to bet? No excuses. I don't accuse anyone. I just know good and well what I've witnessed here, and the Lord is in big trouble from this one. And I know the Lord has a conscience, and I have absolute authority over my Maker's conscience. Do you want to bet? When I bring up the truth, God Almighty shudders. And I'm not the truth. I wouldn't know if it come up and bit me. God Almighty shudders. Yep. This little unit here causes the creator of this cosmos to shudder. What a bat! Shudder, Lord. Shudder.